Dr. Rauni, we have had some extra days here because of the volcanic activity on Iceland. So we have had a lot of time to reflect and to research and to study and to feel and whatever. So it's actually been quite good. We are just between, we can say, Iceland and Europe. So all the ashes should have been coming this way, actually what they say. What do you think about this? Is it as a kind of hoax, or are there some things that don't fit together, or what do you think?
Well, I've been surprised about some of the news, because first of all I think it was fear they wanted to create, of course. And of course it is normal in Iceland to have earthquakes. But somehow this earthquake, to me, seemed possibly as arranged, because that technology does exist. With HARP or with ASCOT in northern Norway, they can create earthquakes. Now, what would be the reason for it? And for me, it's a military exercise, because I don't think there are coincidences. And since in Germany, at the same time, they have an Air Force NATO exercise going on, was it from the 12th of April till the 22nd of April? And this happened on the 14th, so why? Of course, the Air Force needs to go through all kinds of weathers, and weather modification is just one of the means to fight so-called enemies. And people don't think that already, I think it was in the 77 or something, that the UN assembly was warning that weather should not be used as a weapon. And people in the street don't think that weather is an extreme weapon. If you can change the weather so that it comes, you can't see, it comes storms, it comes hurricanes, and earthquakes, or volcanoes erupt, man-made, that changes the war scenario. And I think they need to exercise, because of course military exercises. Now, this can't happen just by coincidence. If it is an exercise, a military exercise, the whole thing, then I would ask who is able to give quote, quote, orders to the European traffic control, because that has to be involved. If you think of the news that have been going on, so it's been a little bit surprising in my mind that some flights can go through the ashes and some quote quote can't. Now they have been doing experimentation. The Finnish fighter pilots had no problems. Now Lufthansa, Air Berlin had been, and Lufthansa 10 times up there, and there has been nothing that would have affected their ability. Yet just today I read that an F-16 NATO fighter had gone through an ash cloud, and it must have been in Iceland in the beginning, because otherwise I don't understand the result. They did say that in the motor they found out glass-like substance, and that's very, very serious in a military, not only exercise, but in the case of war. Somehow I can't leave the thought that this was a weather, military, Air Force, NATO Air Force exercise. And if you think that in next September 2010 in Finland we're going to have the biggest Navy exercise ever in the country, and surprisingly we are not members of the NATO. Surprisingly, all northern European countries up to Netherlands are coming, including USA. From the southern point of near a small town above Turku, Åbo, all the way almost to in our map to Helsinki. Now, why are we having that?
Could that be, you say, preparation for? We know that they have sailed a lot of bombs to the ocean near Iran. It's like they are building up to strike Iran, and it has been going on for actually many years. It has been a subject that has been like a volcano. When is it going to blow off? but could this be preparation actually together with creating fear? Because every day people are talking about the planes are not flying, and it creates a subtle fear. Actually, everything to do with planes, we had 9/11, so everything that has to do with an airplane ignites, you can say, a subtle fear on one level, even though people don't realize it.
I think that's exactly what could be happening, because already President Obama has been warning Iran very seriously, and I think it's just a question of time when America and NATO is going to attack Iran. And then the danger I see is possibly Russia goes with Iran. So maybe we don't just have a war in the Middle East, but it may be a third world war. And that's very, very serious and very scary to everybody, and totally, totally unnecessarily. But we must remember the elite, the powers that be, they want war because they gain economically. And if you think now of this situation in Europe with the Icelandic volcano, it seems that we're going to lose millions and millions in the normal commercial air traffic. So is there power that wants our euro to go down and wants an economic recession? That could be one of the reasons besides the normal quote military exercise. So we are in a transformation period, and it does look serious to me. What can we do? At least everybody who realizes what the situation is, they can start using their mind power. Mind power, don't attack Iran, don't attack, if everybody, millions would think that, their planes would just crash, or their guns wouldn't go off, but because also, that energy is so powerful.
Also, if the military people, they start to realize, what they are part of. Many of them, they don't know if they are being used as pawns, you say, or like Henry Kissinger said, they're just stupid men used for international purposes, politics.
Henry Kissinger said the military are useful idiots.
Yeah.
And I don't accept that, because there are many, many good people in the military. And they always have to obey orders.
Yeah.
So we are in this situation now, but it's very interesting. Today, the first Icelandic air flight flew from Reykjavik to Helsinki, not to Helsinki, to Tampere in Finland.
Yes.
In middle Finland, so the air should be clear for anybody. If from Reykjavik you can fly, so you can fly from anywhere. So maybe this has been little hoax all over. And when they think that in the beginning the winds went from the east, so how come they come to Europe, northern Europe, especially southern Norway and southern Sweden and downwards? Of course, on the other hand, HARP and ASCAT in north of Tromsø, with their antenna huge weapons, they can steer the winds. They can steer them anyway, like they can even steer hurricanes, and they can cause them.
And that's very exciting when you say that, because they said on the Danish meteorologists, the institute that comes with the weather tomorrow, the weather forecast and so, that the wind suddenly changed from coming from east to coming from northwest. But when you research a little about this, you will see that it's not completely true. And because the wind was still coming in, so it's looked like we are having several winds coming from all kinds of direction at the same time. But what has been very positive about this situation since we have been together, we have just it has been really sunshine and so, because where are all the chemtrails gone? But sometimes I've studied the weather a lot, so I've been out, you have seen me being out there all the time with see what is going on. And some people, they have seen this HARP activity. You can see it in the grid in the sky. It becomes like very mathematical, the lines in the sky and how they look. They're scalar clouds. They're very easy to spot because there's like a pattern going on. We have had this here as well, so it looks like perhaps a huge experiment, as you say.
It could be. In Germany, the American Air Force Base, which is responsible for Middle East, for instance, has been able to fly all the time. And of course, they have to exercise how can they transporting flights go through ashes and whatever. And I think this is a perfect exercise.